Have you heard of fatty acid C15? This is a fatty acid which is also known by its other names of pentadecanoic acid or pentadecyclic acid. And this is an odd-chained fatty acid because it's C15 as opposed to something like C8 or C16 that you may have heard about before. And this is something that has been researched over quite a period of time for its beneficial health effects in correlation studies, meaning that studies were done where they saw that people who had higher levels of C15 circulating then had better health outcomes in terms of lower risk of all-cause mortality, less obesity, less chance of having cardiometabolic disease and liver disease. Now, it's not causation that they're looking at here. There's not a pathway by which they've said, okay, this is causing these things to happen. So it's just correlation, but it's still interesting. And this has been identified as potentially an essential fatty acid. So essential fatty acids, you usually think of omega-3 and omega-6 that you would get from, in the omega-6 category, mostly coming from nuts and seeds, and some omega-3s you get from plant foods as well. But then also you go to animal foods more for the long chain omega-3s, the EPA and the DHA. Well, this is another proposed essential fatty acid, meaning that the body is not able to synthesize it on its own and requires exogenous dietary consumption of this to be at optimal health. So that's great. The thing that threw me a little bit here is that a lot of this research, especially in more recent times than some of the animal research, is very heavily funded by one company who is the first company on the market selling C15 as a supplement. Okay, well, maybe it's all it's cracked up to be and it's going to produce some incredible health outcomes for a lot of people. But my reason for concern here, or the reason that, let's just say this, the reason I wouldn't purchase this as a supplement is that in one dose of this supplement, you get 100 milligrams of C15, and they say that's all you need. Great. But they also are, readily admit you can also get this dietarily. You can get this from some plant foods, from some animal foods. So I was curious. I said, let's look at how much of this occurs in plant foods, because sometimes you'll have things, for example, NMN, nicotinamide mononucleotide, the NAD precursor that has amazing effects on mitochondria and on longevity. With something like that, yeah, you can find some in broccoli and some in beef. It's an inconsequential amount and is not going to produce serious results like you would get in a supplement. So I was thinking, okay, maybe that's the case here. Maybe in food sources of C15, you're not going to get anywhere near 100 milligrams, and that's why one might want to take this as a supplement. But that turns out not to be the case. It's actually quite easy to hit 100 milligrams looking at food sources. So one of the best food sources of this is the durian fruit. And this is not something everybody has easy access to, but I just share it because people who love durian really love durian. I'm one of them. It's a spectacular fruit that requires a little bit of an acquired taste, but once you acquire that taste, it's a lifelong love. And I can't wait till I manage to get my hands on some again. It's an incredible Southeast Asian fruit that everyone should experience a couple times because you might not enjoy it the first time. I know I didn't enjoy it the first time I had it, but the second time and every time after that was spectacular. Now, a quarter cup, tiny amount, a quarter cup, that's like this little much. That much durian is going to give you 100 milligrams. Okay, let's go to some things that are going to be more easily accessible in North America, for example. You could have a quarter cup of cheese. You could have 1 ounce of beef. You can have a small, like half a hamburger. A cup of potatoes will do it. 2 cups of peanuts, 2 pieces of pizza, probably, in large part coming from the cheese on there, or 2 sockeye salmon fillets. Probably you're getting a bunch of different sources of small amounts of C15 in your diet on a daily basis. And you guys know I am by no means opposed to using nutritional supplements to optimize your health. I've got no opposition to that. But when it's so easy, so incredibly easy to get something dietarily, I don't think it's necessary to consume it in synthetic form coming from a supplement. So I hope that made sense. And, we'll see what happens over the next couple of years in terms of research, further research on C15, perhaps some human research on some causative effects will be done, and that will be interesting. We'll stay tuned. So leave a comment with where you think you might be getting C15 in your diet. And if you guys have enjoyed this video, if it's brought you any value or given you any laughs, please do click the like button below and be sure to subscribe to the channel. We love sharing this stuff with you and would really love to stay connected. So thanks so much for joining me, guys. Have a great day and hope to see you again soon.